Hello there, Lunar Squadron. Welcome back to the channel. Lucasfilm Games will reportedly announce a brand new video game pretty soon. That's at least what the rumor mill has been saying. We're going to evaluate those rumors and tell you all if they're reliable, what information do we know at this point, and what should we look forward to getting into this next fiscal quarter. Before we get into that, guys, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to enlist in Lunar Squadron by hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification button right on next to it. It'll notify you every single time that Nick and I upload, so feel free to join. You are all welcome. Other than that, guys, feel free to follow us on social media at Lunar Squadron and join our Discord. Click the link below to our Discord server. It's a great way to stay in contact with Nick, myself, and other members of the Lunar Squadron. So without further ado, Nick, you ready to get into this discussion about Lucasfilm Games' latest game?
Yeah.
If you have been paying attention to Star Wars gaming news this week, you will have seen reportedly that Quantic Dream is going to be working, or has been working, on a Star Wars game for the past 18 months or so. So I guess what we're trying to attack in this video is this whole thing legitimate? We have a named leaker here. We have a whole trail of breadcrumbs here with this story, and we're going to kind of unpack things, let you all know what's going on, and whether or not Nick and I think this is legitimately happening, or if it's, another rumored hoax. So, kind of to start things off, this all circulates around a leaker named Tom Henderson. If you guys haven't heard the name, he's kind of been in the gaming leaking conversation over the past year, hasn't he, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty legitimate. He's leaked a lot of stuff about the upcoming Battlefield game before it was announced that turned out to be extremely accurate. He's leaked stuff about Warzone in the past. So yeah, this guy's got a very good track record of being right about this kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's personally right off the bat for me. I think there's no reason to believe that this isn't actually something that is happening. There's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of sources that are reporting this, a lot of high-level sources that are reporting this. So apparently Quantic Dream is making a new Star Wars game. Surprise, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does seem legit here. Most recently, about 2 days ago, Tom Henderson, the leaker, kind of posted a Twitter thread. I'm going to link that in the comments down below, but also kind of just talk through it right now. This is kind of what Tom Henderson has laid out for all of us. He said the studio was working on, by the studio he means Quantic Dream, was working on an open world space game after the release of Beyond Two Souls. The project was dubbed Project Karma and eventually turned into Project Solstice. The game has been in development for around 2 years. So from that, we know that this game actually kind of has a likelihood that it's going to be an open world space game. An open world game out of Quantic Dream. That's something, right?
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about Quantum Dreams for a brief second and just kind of talk about maybe their history of what their games are usually like. They are the developers of Heavy Rain. They are the developers of Detroit Become Human, which, when you think of those games and then think about an open world action Star Wars game, they doesn't really make sense to me. So I guess there's a lot of confusion on my end as to why this studio was picked to be the creators of the upcoming Star Wars game, but that is why Lucasfilm Games makes the decisions and I do not. They are another one of those studios that has a little public controversy. I don't want to get into it at all, but that is what I will say, is they have been in the public eye in the past for events, whether they are good or bad, that is up for you to decide, but they have been in the news in the past. So again, makes this a very interesting choice. And like I said, just based off of the style of games they've made, I'm not quite sure what exactly they're hoping to accomplish here with this Star Wars game. This just seems like you're asking a studio that is not experienced with this style of game to accomplish something like this on this level. I mean, you can't screw Star Wars up. You got to get it right. So asking a studio that is not experienced with these kind of games to then make a successful game in an area, like I said, they're not experienced with, very interesting decision. I know a lot of people in the past know that this studio has been associated with making PlayStation exclusive games only, and I have seen a couple people have been concerned about whether or not that would mean this is another game that will be an exclusive on PlayStation, whether that be timed or full exclusive. That is no longer the case for this studio anymore. They are committed to making multi-platform games, so there is reason to believe that this game will be out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC, and who knows, maybe Switch or the old gen PS4 and Xbox One, but it will be a multi-platform game.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know that much about Quantic's relationship with Sony, I guess they kind of had a exclusive timed partnership with Sony where they had to make, I think it was 3 games for Sony. And according to Tom Henderson, this Project Karma / Project Solstice project was actually like put off track by Sony, who wanted their like exclusive contract game, Detroit Become Human, to be put kind of on the acceleration track. So what ended up happening is this whole space project, which we all think is the Star Wars game, has been put on hold, or was put on hold, for them to develop Detroit Become Human. And Quantic was also reportedly having issues with having an open world, like you were saying, Nick. This isn't, like, an open world really isn't their thing. So it looked like they were struggling with that, and their whole contract with Sony looked to be getting in the way of this project. And it looks like they've now finished things with Sony. They've done Detroit Become Human. It was released. And now they are back at their game, focusing on this whole open world space game, which is widely reported to be a Star Wars game. You got Tom Henderson saying it's a Star Wars game. Kotaku actually had an independent source verify that this is also a Star Wars game. And it looks like, to address some of those concerns about not having enough developers that were experienced with open world, that Quantic Dream has mainly their new studio in Montreal working on this game. Their new studio in Montreal seems like it's been loaded with talent from devs who've previously worked for studios who are experienced with open world games, namely devs from Ubisoft, which, as you all know, are very talented with open world games, Assassin's Creed being one of those many. Hell, Ubisoft is currently working on what looks to be an open world Star Wars game right now. So there's kind of a lot swirling around this whole thing right now. And I mean, what do you think about it, Nick? Like, do you think this is all like legit? It's going to be an open world Star Wars game that Quantic Dream is making, and apparently there's this like story driven studio. Like, are they going to pull this thing off, or if they're even going to get this project?
I have 2 things really to say, and then I've kind of said my piece with this game up to this point. One, Lucasfilm is about to greenlight perhaps the strangest Star Wars game ever, because this is just weird to me. This whole thing is very weird to me. And number 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but based off what I've read, and I could be completely wrong about this, is it sounds like Quantic Dream, while they were under contract with PlayStation, were working on this open world, or this space project. It wasn't a Star Wars game originally. It was just some sort of space project when they were working with PlayStation. PlayStation wanted them to do some sort of space game, and then all of the stuff out in the public happened, and all of that kind of stuff happened, and Sony kind of just fast-tracked their last few games and moved on. So it makes me wonder if Lucasfilm Games was looking around, saw that Quantic Dream had developed some sort of space game engine or something, had developed something towards a space game, and was just like, why not? Let's just tell them to put a Star Wars skin on it. We'll pay for them to finish it. Like, we'll give them the funding for it. We'll just finish it up real quick. Boom, there's another Star Wars game. It'll make money. Part of me wonders if that's
Yeah.
what's happening, is like they just looked around the gaming industry, saw like the studio Quantic Dream had been working on a space game that went absolutely nowhere and had the assets for it, and we're like, all right, we'll just pay them to make it a Star Wars game.
I guess that could be like one possibility. Again, guys, there's so many question marks around this whole thing that like it could be that like there are other explanations for what we're seeing right now. Like it could be that that they've been working on this Star Wars game for the past 18 months and it was just hush hush. Now, you guys all know that there is a little company called EA that had an exclusive deal with Star Wars. So, I mean, there was a carve out for Lego games, as you guys all know. TT Games was allowed to make Lego Star Wars video games. But aside from that, it looked to be all EA. So is it likely that 2 years ago, this random studio was making an open world Star Wars game, or is it more likely, like Nick said, that it was reskinned? I think that was probably way too far in the past for Lucasfilm Games to start planning outside of their EA contract. But who knows? It could be that it's entirely different. What we do know is along those lines that EA's contract is up in 2023. So if you had to think, this is a game that's been worked on for about 18 months. Does 2023 seem like an ideal year for this thing to come out finally?
Yeah, I mean, 2022, there's no way that happens, because I'm guessing if this game is announced, which it seems like per a lot of these articles and sources that they are gearing up for an announcement in the coming weeks or months. Yeah. If I had to guess, that means maybe December with the Game Awards, as that's the next major thing for this to happen. Kind of similar to what happened with the KOTOR remake at the PlayStation event. I'm expecting something similar to that, an announcement like that. And which, if you remember, the KOTOR rumors a few months back, a few months later, we finally get the official announcement. So there is some time that it takes between these rumors and these announcements actually happening. So if I had to guess, this game doesn't get announced till sometime December, early next year, which means 2023. I don't think this game has that kind of turnaround in 2022 at all from announcement. So I think 2023, if not 2024, for this game. I think this is more of a few years down the road kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that timeline makes perfect sense. Whatever this game is, whether it's a Star Wars game or some random Quantic Dream open world space game, we know as of this week, per Tom Henderson's sources, that this game is currently being greenlighted by Disney, which kind of suggests that it's going to be a Star Wars game. A trailer is being greenlighted by Disney this week, or I guess is up for evaluation to be greenlighted by Disney. Like Nick said, it takes a while for these things to develop. It takes a while for these trailers to develop. For all we know, Disney could say, nah, I don't like that trailer. They got to go back to the drawing board. They kind of pack in those few months before. I mean, right now we're a few months out of December, so they have time to ping pong back and forth and agree on a trailer to then show at the Game Awards or whenever it may be. I think Game Awards kind of seem like the logical place to put this. But I think that makes perfect sense. Kind of clear this thing right now, show off what you have at the Game Awards, and then target a 2023 release once your exclusive deal with EA has elapsed. I think that's kind of what to expect from this thing. I think this thing is legit. It remains to be seen whether this thing is going to be if the juice is going to be worth the squeeze kind of thing. Like, is this something that we want? Is this something that's going to be good? Let us know in the comments below what you guys think. Nick and I will have a prolonged discussion about that and the path that Lucasfilm Games is taking right now. We have a lot to say on that matter, so look forward to that discussion later on this week. But for now, let us know in the comments what you think about this Quantic Dream game. Do you think it's going to be announced shortly? How shortly? And when do you think it's going to come out? All sorts of things. Anything Quantic Dream Star Wars, rattle it off in the comments down below. Also, like the video if you enjoyed this discussion. It lets us know that you're enjoying the content and you want to see more discussions like this one, so it's really great feedback for Nick and myself. And if you're new to the channel, as always, feel free to enlist in the Lunar Squadron by hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification button right on next to it. It's going to let you know every single time that Nick and I upload. With that, that's going to do it for today, and we will see you all next time.